it's up to 2.
It's 10% up to 2 million.
Yeah.
But that was the other concern is, I mean, where do we draw the line to potentially go back to Chardon with these overruns that we're facing?
Well, they're on the hook. I mean, unless you unless you run over $20 million,
I mean,
they're
it's
capped.
getting pretty doggone close.
Yeah, they're capped at $2 million. So that's what we had agreed. I mean, at the time we thought that was pretty comfortable, because that would mean that the project cost would exceed 20 million. I think when we did that,
And I guess, do we have a position of finally stopping work if we can't, continue to agree that, I mean, we're in a situation where, we had our estimates and we've got everything, but where's the ceiling on it for us? And every, I can't recall what the number is, but it was pretty high as where we've gotten with, additional charges. And I'm looking across the street and it looks like basically just framework, and I can only imagine if we've already had this kind of overrun, what is it potentially going to be, and it's almost at the point to say, we need to hold within these parameters. And if not, then we just cannot have this endless supply of cash that's just going to continue to go to this. And, last that I heard, I don't know if it's 100% true, but yesterday I was approached by 3 different people at the fair saying that Chardon is starting to push back, basically even questioning that there were parameters on what their money was going to be or what it's going to go towards with the project. And that they're questioning to say that they're not going to be responsible for that full $2 million. So, we don't want that surprise happening. We had an agreement in place and we haven't seen, I don't believe, a dime from them. Correct?
Not yet, yeah.
yeah,
But it's been the ones that have been putting out all of the money from day one. And it's getting frustrating because, first of all, I never supported that. No different than I don't support what we did up here. We should have done a full project to have new offices. And now we continue to see all these overruns of maintenance. And we're going to continue to see these Band-Aids put on these, these bleeding wounds that are just going to continue to suck us dry, and that's the reality of it, And I get it. You weren't a part of that because, frankly, it was the auditor at the time, but, the treasurer, dug his heels. You had said that, they did $1 million renovation in your thing, and that was, not something you were interested in. Everybody dug their heels in, but all of a sudden now we want to do all this remodeling and we want to do this. We wanted you in a brand new building, We wanted everybody in a brand new building, including the courts. But yet, think about the logistics of what we're spending there. I mean, we're going through all of this, and I'm just going to state my pieces. We're going through all of this stuff about being responsible to taxpayers. The responsible thing for taxpayers was not to put $20 million across the street, and how many millions of dollars we continue to spend, and what we're going to continue to spend, that everybody should have had that foresight to say, what do we do to make this true and correct from day one? And we would have probably been close to you guys moving into a brand new building right now with state-of-the-art security, state-of-the-art efficiency, everything that we needed to do. And it's hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It's hard to sit here and listen to this because we've thrown a lot of good dollars on bad. And I just feel like sometimes this comes down on the commissioners because of the fact that we ultimately have to make some of these decisions. And I obviously didn't have the support at the time to get that across, to basically hold the line to say, we're the authority that says you're moving, and we should have moved everybody. And we tried to appease everybody, and now where are we at? I mean, I tried to back out of a space over here and almost got blindsided. What do you think it's going to be like when that courthouse opens up with that many more people? Think this is going to be improved? It's not.
Well, what I will say, Ralph, I guess what surprises me even more is then when I'm willing to invest in improving the space that I am in now, that I use for REEF functions, using REEF money.
Right.
Why would the commissioners remove that from the budget?
Because for me personally, I don't want to put another dime in this. it's exactly what I said. We're continuing to go down this road of trying to basically patch up something that's bad. We moved IT and put so much of the equipment down at the new county building. Why? Because of the dilapidated conditions. I mean, you've said it yourself, Chuck. Wires are hanging that you've had to duck your head to go underneath it. But yet we could not get support back then to put something in place and collectively make a good move to be able to help the taxpayers. And I get it. This isn't going anywhere. This is what we got, and this is what we've got to deal with. But we had an opportunity there, and we had an opportunity back then to truly make this make sense. And everybody wanted to, dig their heels, but I think that it's sad for our taxpayers because I think we could have served them that much better. And look at the funds that we do have. We would have been in a condition to be able to more than afford it. So,
Well, yeah, I'm getting them just, again, you don't have to work in these buildings, our people do. And for you to say, well, you're not gonna put another nickel in them. We're gonna be in these buildings for decades, so money needs to be invested in them. And you guys are totally abandoned your statutory duties in maintaining these buildings. And the maintenance department has just been awful. And I just, again, I don't know that this is a debate for here, for the budget commission, but
I mean, I
I
agree that we'll disagree on.
I mean, Chuck has a fund that really has nothing to do with you guys, and you won't let him spend it to improve the space that you don't maintain.
And you won't
It's
spend it to hire
We
maintenance,
just put in the elevator.
but the elevator's in the other building.
I get that.
Listen,
I'm just,
I agree you shouldn't put a nickel in the opera house. We need to get the hell out of that. You know, I've been saying that for years, but we're the annex.
part of the big picture.
We're here.
But Ralph, I feel like, there's punishment being served.
It's not punishment. I'll tell you, to your face, it's not punishment. It's just, I think that what's the next thing that's gonna go bad? That I don't know. I get it. We gotta try to do something, but it's just an unfortunate time.
The reason this building is so bad is because it hasn't been properly maintained for 20 plus years, and that's before any of you were in here.
But
It still hasn't been.
we're saying we're not gonna put another nickel in this space, but I was just told at the fair yesterday by Glenn that they ordered a brand new generator.
Which is good. I applaud that decision.
What I'm saying is just, we gotta try to stay at least operational, right?
Well-
And if we have a situation with the generator, people need to be able to have lights and have whatever goes along with power. We're trying to do the what we can do to try to do that.
Wouldn't you agree that having rodents come in and burying themselves in the wall, so we have to evacuate this space for 2 weeks to the smell to go away, because there's holes in the building, or ceiling tiles falling in, so we can't meet in another conference room, because the ceiling tiles were falling in. That's not putting another nickel in the space.
I understand that.
We still have to operate out of these spaces.
And I think we'll do what we can do to be able to do some of that, but this is, these buildings did not rate like C plus, B plus. These buildings, when we had the assessment done, they rated as Fs.
Well, then we shouldn't be working out of these buildings.
And we said that back then.
But here we are.
I've been in this building for 12 years. You guys you've invested no doubt, other than fixing emergencies, you've invested $0. And you gotta maintain a building. Let me tell you something, that new building you're in, if the lifespan's 50 years, if you maintain it like you've maintained these buildings, lifespan's gonna be way shorter than that. Because you gotta invest money in these buildings, and the maintenance staff doesn't do anything.
I have a lot of public coming through my space, Ralph, and I gotta tell you, it's embarrassing. It is dangerous. I had an employee walking out the back steps that fell through the steps and was out of work, and we paid him for 9 months.
Because the maintenance department improperly maintained and constructed the
I
stairway.
didn't sleep for weeks worrying about this guy's gonna sue us and hold us liable for it. Because we're the ones we being the county, constructed that
Sure.
stairway.
My windows have been cleaned in 2.5 years. Come look at them.
Just a
Good thing that contract got
Yeah,
passed.
okay, when's that, next year? I mean, come look through them. That's not even something that, okay, that's ridiculous, but it's not the road's coming.
I'm willing to use REEF funds where I can lawfully to improve the space, not the Taj Mahal, but just like we did in this space. I mean, this was a dump when I moved in. We threw a coat of paint on the walls, put new ceiling tiles in, and put LED lights to cut out the load. It lowers the heat, but I had to put an air conditioner in because we can't get heat in here or air conditioning. So that's not living lavishly and I can't speak to what Frank Aaliyah didn't want to do or did want to do. I just know that I'm trying to operate 40-some employees out of space that is at times potentially dangerous. And I don't want somebody else to get hurt, and I don't think the county does either. And I think there's a difference between just doing nothing and doing at least the essential things to keep the place habitable and able to conduct business in a safe manner. I mean, that's all I'm asking to do. And the contract services that I had in REEF was just going to put new AC units in so we could have meetings in the basement and have more than 10 people in a room. That's all it was for. So I could do BORs, budget commission, and the like, which is all a function of REEF. So that's removed, and then maintenance money is removed. And that's your prerogative. That'll be a different argument for a different day. But I don't know how we square that. How do we get a meeting of the minds of that?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
Well, my office needs security upgrades. I have plans. I'll be seeing you. You guys can decide to give me the money or not.